This most devastating volcanic eruption triggered a horrific year without a summer. Now, we've had surprising volcanic eruptions lately, one of them the White Island in New Zealand, that was totally unexpected, even though they were monitoring it and even though it had quake swarms weeks before its eruption. It erupted because of the input of water, and it created steam. The steam had to escape, and it caused the eruption. Now, the most dangerous and active volcanoes in the world, we know we have at least 20 supervolcanoes, and that's not counting the supervolcano of Germany, a system that may be right under the New England area of the United States. But the most dangerous and active volcanoes in the world, supervolcano of Yellowstone, as we know. We also have Mount Rainier. We also have Long Valley Caldera, which is another supervolcano of California. We have Nova Rupta volcano in the USA. We have Mount Vesuvius in Italy, Mount Pinatubo of Philippines, Mount Fuji in Japan, Mount Merapi, Indonesia, Mount Agung in Indonesia. And we also have, of course, warnings of megathrust earthquakes. It's not just the volcanoes that we have to be aware of. But a devastating volcano erupted, sparking a year without a summer. Thousands were victims, and it triggered an agricultural disaster worldwide. This is what has been revealed. Darren Hunt, Express UK reports, the year without a summer because of the volcanic ash. The Earth suffered the year without a summer after the volcano erupted, killing thousands, triggering ramifications that were felt across the planet. Around 70,000 people thought to have been victims of the Mount Tambora, Indonesia eruption that happened in April of 1815. Writing in What Does Rain Smell Like?, meteorologists Simon King and Claire Nassir discussed and explained computer models of how the climate could be impacted by a volcanic winter or nuclear warfare. An explanation, the validity behind the computer models, the impacts to the climate. These geologists revealed how the most devastating volcanic eruption in recorded history at the time of the eruption was a massive impact on the planet. The weather forecasters explain how scientists have been recording volcanic eruptions for centuries before explaining this Mount Tambora year without a summer. And they said, while estimates are differing, the death toll was said to be around 70,000 people. With a huge amount of ash being pumped into the atmosphere, it transformed and transported around the Earth. It has significant impact on the climate. And by the following year, the global temperature had dropped from 0.4 degrees Celsius to 0.7 degrees Celsius. But even though that does not sound like a lot, it had enormous impact, and that's why it was known as the year without a summer. Obviously, it had impact on the climate. Now, the pair explained how the massive eruption caused agricultural disaster. It triggered major food shortages across the northern hemisphere. Their book also outlines why this natural disaster had such a detrimental impact on the world climate, and how similar conditions can be created by not only a volcanic eruption, but a nuclear war. They said, while the year without a summer was a result of a natural disaster, the basic principle of a large amount of smoke, ash, and sulfur dioxide released into the atmosphere, blocking out the sunlight and reducing the local temperatures, is the same principle applied to a nuclear winter. And they made deadly reference to the volcanic eruption coming, as the authors discussed, the India-Pakistan model, as scientists in the 1980s looked at the consequences on the planet if a nuclear war was to break out between these two countries. And we know that they have a tremendous amount of strife between them and conflict lately. Among the deadliest volcanic eruptions in history include Krakatau in Indonesia of 1883. It blew ash hundreds of miles far from the eruption. The eruption, widely thought to have been the loudest sound because the explosions triggered giant tsunamis, and over 30,000 people were victims of that. Indonesia is on the Ring of Fire, as we know. We have a lot of biggish earthquakes, 5 magnitude Richter, and also we have, of course, the volcano situated there. Now, it's in the basin of the Pacific Ocean, many earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. I think 75%, if I'm correct, of volcanic eruptions occur on this Ring of Fire, 90% of the world's earthquakes. Also, some of the biggest volcanic eruption is Pele on the French island of Martinique. That erupted in 1902. Ruiz in Colombia, that erupted in 1985. Over 25,000 people, victims there. And Unze in Japan, 1792. It was believed to have triggered the landslide and also tsunami. So in the book, What Does Rain Smell Like?, Simon King and Claire Nassir discuss a range of critical questions concerning weather. Nassir and King attempted to discuss the myths around weather while also giving detailed examination of climate change on the planet as well as climate modification. They also discuss in this book how countries around the world are trying to influence the weather in the future, whether it be cloud seeding with experiments taking place to make a particular area dry or increasing rainfall somewhere else. Unpicked are weather phenomena, including cloud formation and theories behind rainbows, and why certain parts of the world experience extreme weather depending on the time of year. And also this recent thing called the Beast from the East, which brought heavy snowfall to the UK at the beginning of 2018. They explore that as meteorologists explain exactly why Britain was pummeled by bitterly cold conditions, with a delayed look at whether the events of the weather are more likely to occur in the future. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.